on too
We'll
long.
do.
Okay.
On the video, they said you have to be there in person, and you get the product line, the 4 products, only once.
Yes. Only one.
Yeah.
So they're launching those products. When did he say? Joe Chang did a presentation on that. Was it end of this year or
Yeah, fourth quarter.
end of this year?
Yeah.
They're going to be sending out to all team elites a sample of these products. I don't know when. They actually sent them to Dubai. We didn't receive them, so they're shipping them back. Whatever happened there, whether it was the weather or what. I mean,
they were held up in customs.
My nephew was flying through from Sydney to London through Dubai, and he landed on the day the storm hit Dubai, and he got stuck there for 5 days. So he came and had dinner with us, and so maybe the product got caught up in the storm or something. But anyway, they're going to be shipping it out to the team elite so we can try it for ourselves. But we're talking hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars of market share that we can capture with those products when they launch later this year. And you'll be seeing more information about that coming out in the months ahead.
And then after that is Helix. Then they'll start launching into the DNA products. So the product lineup is incredible.
Yeah.
For the next few years. There's no shortage of incredible products coming down the track. That will have so much opportunity just with the products that are coming.
So one thing that always concerned us, and I heard Ryan talk about this too, was, and Blake Roney, matter of fact, Sherry was explaining this beautifully yesterday on a call that we did with one of our groups, and about, Blake Roney, when she met with him in his office, when she joined the business, he said that, you can't just have a handful of products to make a company successful. You've got to have innovation. You've got to continually innovate. This is why they have 70 PhD scientists on staff. And he was talking about, Ryan was talking about the fact that, and Joe Chang as well, and Steve Hatchett was up on stage talking about this, that, their products are lined up well into the future. We're talking the next 10 years of products are already decided and lined up. And now what they're doing is going through the process of preparing them, of doing the studies and the tests and so forth. They know statistically what the market's going to need. That's the first time I'd heard any of this stuff. They know as we age, what products we're going to be looking for. It's like when they bring out these sleep products and anxiety products later, they knew that the baby boomers were going to be looking for that 10 years ago when they decided to start developing those products. And so the innovation side of the business and the company is focused for at least the next 10 years and beyond. So those of you that are bringing people in, keep this in the back of your mind. When you're recruiting people, know that these new people that come into the business are going to have new opportunities, new products, and new technology and new innovation coming out for many, many years to come, no matter where you are in your position in the business.
So that is what Blake Roney told me when I went down there, when I was just looking at the company. He said, this is the promise that we will give to you, is that we will always create opportunity. He said that we'll do that in 2 ways. He said, we will continue to innovate so that there will always be a new product, a new opportunity, a new category, so that the business opportunity is viable for your kids, not just for you. He said, that is one of the commitments we'll make for you. And we'll continue to recreate opportunity by opening other markets. And that is what they're doing. In opening India. So they had to move these things logically. Like, we were also excited. We wanted to move immediately into the DNA and everything else. But when you look at the launch sequence, Mind had to come first and India had to come first. We can't open up the whole DNA and Helix thing before those 2 things are on track and ready to go. So they've thought things out. They've done it in the right progression, and the opportunity is huge. Our kids, which John, your kids are on here, could join now and have a bigger opportunity than we had. It's just going to keep going. They're keeping their commitment that I'd heard the very first time I went to Nu Skin.
It's actually a little it's not strange, but you know, for the couple of meetings we've had with Brian in the past few months, the big one in Dubai and then that one I had in Provo, he and I were the only ones in the office. Everyone had gone home. This is 6 o'clock at night until like almost 11 o'clock that night. We just sat there talking, and you know, I found it a little almost unusual. His not unusual, but his commitment to this. And I'm actually thinking to myself, wow, you know, it's rare that you would sit in front of the CEO of a company, of a public company, you know, who was trying to find ways to, from his heart, trying to find ways to better the company and to grow the company and to, you know, really, you know, he was asking me my position on a number of issues that they had. And, you know, I came home to Sherry that weekend and I said, wow, I experienced something Friday night that I've never experienced before. And
well, sorry to interrupt you, Sean, but it's like a Back to the Future moment here, you know, it's like back to where we were.
Yes.
You've conveyed that spirit, you know, that feeling that we used to have always about, you know, yeah.
That is, that's what's been missing, you know, and he gave us that, his meetings, you know, he said, look, really what we want is for you guys to succeed, is for us to provide you with an opportunity to be able to do. And he said, we're navigating through a different place these days than we were 25 years ago, or when the company began 40 years ago. You know, there's the SEC is breathing all over MLM companies in the US right now. And they're breathing down their necks, you know, and watching every single move they make. As a matter of fact, I did a presentation on the weekend down in Provo at the leadership conference, and I got an email on Monday saying that from legal, okay, who watched the Zoom, okay, and they said to me, the guy was very nice and very cordial, and he said, look, normally we write a letter, you know, I'm not going to do that in this case because of who you are, whatever, but he said, there's something that you said, and I mentioned the word freedom in my presentation, you know, and he said, that's a no-no. He said, I think you know that. And I mean, I did a presentation down there 6 months ago that just rocked their whole world. I was showing figures, I was showing houses, I was showing cars, I was just like sticking it up and sort of thing, because I didn't want to know about all these rules. And they did write me a letter. They did call me as well and said, look, the SEC, we've tried to explain to you, the SEC is watching every move we make. And so it's difficult, is what I'm trying to say. It's a lot harder than it used to be for the company to navigate its way through the marketplace these days, because everything that we do is watched. And so I think we might pull up these slides now and talk a little bit about India. I know some of you probably got to go to bed.
Sean, can I just say something, because it's very interesting what you said. Thank you so much for the information. I think Ryan is under a big pressure from so much different point of views, and this is the change that has been made since the owners sold Nu Skin. And they had other pressures because they had to build, but it was much positive pressure because you're going into the future. And Ryan has so many interests coming to his neck. That's why he nearly broke it. That's also a symbolic thing. And I'm so glad to hear what you say, because this is exactly what we all felt. That Nu Skin is navigating to a very rough sea. And the best we can do is to help, is to hold the ship also with all our effort, because we have to help. I mean, we are part of it. We are also in this.
That's what he was asking.
We need to help.
He was asking us today. He said, you know, you need to know our commitment is there. What I need to know is that your commitment is there. And so the theme of the whole Dubai trip was, I am all in. You know, on all their presentations, every executive got up there. Towards the end of their presentation, they said, I am all in. I am all in for you, the distributor. You know, are you with me? And of course, all the crowd said, yes, we're all in. And the whole theme of the thing was, you know, Ryan said, you know, his whole life is devoted to obviously his kids. You see that on his social media pages, which is fantastic, you know, but second to his family, which is rightly so. First is Nu Skin and the distributors. He cares, and you know, I think we can commit. And like I said, you know, it really made me increase my loyalty, if you like, if I
Yeah.
could have done that,
Yeah.
and say, okay, I'm going to sacrifice. I'm going to take some time out of my great life, and I'm going to focus on helping the people in our
Yeah.
organization
And
to
Ryan,
do India, you know?
and you know what? I've never been loyal to Ryan. I've always, like, I was loyal to Truman. I was loyal to Blake. I've never been loyal to Ryan. I just couldn't figure him out. Didn't know if he was in our court or not. But I am now very loyal to Ryan. I feel like he's taken such big risks for us and has done all that he can do. And I feel the same way. I feel like we need to help. You know, he's done everything he can do. Now it's in our court. We need to do something about it. He said when he was laying in bed with the broken neck,
Yeah.
that he was thinking to himself, you know what, I could just back out of Nu Skin right now. He
Yeah.
said the distributors don't really like me. He said, I've just crashed the stock. He said, people aren't sure whether I'm going in the right direction or not. He said, I could just back out. This would be a really good reason and excuse to back out. I broke my neck. And he said he was laying there thinking, no, I'm not backing out. He said, we're going to make this thing work. He said that the choices and the decisions we've made, they are going to make this company massive. We're on to something big. And he said, then he recommitted again. Go ahead, John.
Sure. Sorry, Sherry, to keep interrupting, but that's exactly the point, what you've just said. Now, the other thing that a lot of distributors felt, me included, you know, was, does Ryan really need us anymore? Is he
Yeah.
committed to
Right.
That's the
us?
question. That question came up in
Yeah.
Dubai. You know, as a matter of fact, in that meeting he had with us, I think it was Kenton Worthington at the back of the
Yeah.
room. And there was 100 team elites in this room. And Kenton was at the back. And he said to Ryan, do you really need us anymore in the future? And it was a question that was on my mind. And it was
Yeah.
on everyone's mind. And he said, absolutely. He said, you know, you are the whole reason for our being. And you need to know that. And he said, every decision we make. And I mean, when you talk to the executives, it's true. We know the executives there. You know, we know Steve Hatchett, he's like a brother to us, you know, Buck and Justin, all those guys, you know, we're really close to them. And when you talk to them, I mean, they're giving their all. They're everything they say and do, isn't it? Even their families are sacrificing.
Yeah.
You know, we talk to their wives over in Dubai about the time they spend away from their families, you know. And we went up and thanked a bunch of the wives, saying to them, we're really grateful that you're willing to sacrifice time with you know, it was either Buck or Justin or whoever, you know, because of the commitment that they have. They're all the same. It doesn't look like that in the field, John. And you know, like we've had this conversation several times where you and I both say, what the heck, you know, are they thinking, you know? But when I go to Provo, you know, and I walk around those offices and I watch them and I listen to them, you know, it's like my head gets messed up because they're so focused on doing the right thing and trying to help us, but the mistakes in the field make it seem like that's not the case. Well, it's just the case. And Ira, thank you for bringing up that.
Yeah,
point, because
Ira.
it's absolutely
It is true. I was
May I
talking
ask a question?
to
Did they,
Ronnie from Indonesia when we were leaving, and they said, you know what, we're going to do this. We're going to put everything we have into it because we feel like it's our responsibility. She said after what they have done and what Ryan's done and the commitments they've made, she said it's in our court now. She said it's our responsibility to help them to move this forward after everything they've done.
So
may I ask a question?
Yes.
Was
Yeah.
this commitment all in also for the European president? And what happens in Europe sometimes with all the different stuff and teams we have? Because sometimes I have the feeling that you can do as much as you can. You call the company as it was for me on the 5th of April, and until the 29th, I didn't get an answer. And it
Yeah.
was a very important question. So when they are all in for us and they need us, then all the people from New Skin and they work, they have to be there for us and committed too, not only wine. I
Let-
like wine.
Let me answer.
That was
Now
Let
too.
me answer like this.
Question.
Let me answer like this if I can, because there've been, we've been 36 years with the company. There's been a lot of times when we have wanted something from the company that we've been unable to secure. And so what I thought of a long, 20 plus years ago was I am going to figure a way to get in there and get to know these guys and become their friend and become an integral part of, as far as, I'm concerned anyway, of the company, almost a little bit like an employee, if you like. When Sherry and I go to Provo, Blake Roney once told me to my face, he said, there's a lot of team elites that come in here, and I hate to say this, but he said, and Steve and I hit the elevator and leave the building. He said, when you and Sherry come in, he said, you need to know that we all open our doors and are very welcoming of you coming here. And he said, we're very grateful for that. And I was very grateful for him to say that because, these people are employees. I mean, Blake and Steve were not employees, but, you've got 5,000 employees and you've got 20 or so over there in Europe, and they think differently to us. And so we need to treat them differently to the way we expect. It's like when you talk to me or Sherry, you're going to get answers. You're going to get, because we're business people, we're pretty sharp, or Sherry is anyway, but we know how to, but when you talk to employees, they just think differently. And so my suggestion is that you get to know these people. Obviously, we built a big organization that gave us some leverage, and it helps, but it's been very beneficial for us to have gotten to know these people like family. I mean, we can go on vacation with them. We can go into Provo anytime. And, and I would highly recommend that if you're in a leadership position, as you go forward, that you make these people, your friends. Take extra time to call them, take extra time to get to know them, and you will get what you're looking for, and don't stop. Don't wait for the answer. I wouldn't wait for the answer for 3 weeks. I would be on the phone. If I needed to know something and I wasn't getting a response, I would go to the next person or the next person or whatever. I wouldn't wait and get mad because I haven't heard back from them. That's not an entrepreneurial way to think. I don't think, I'm not saying it's a bad thing what you did, Walter. I'm just saying,
So I have to add that they said to us, they need to wait for an answer from Provo. And they didn't get the answer earlier.
So go to Provo.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they had to ask Provo first. So
Here's what I'm saying. Figure it out. Okay. That's what we do. That's not what they do. They're employees. They put it into a box and they say, okay, when we hear back from Provo, I'll send that message. But, we're business people. So let's get on to this slide presentation here. And I'm going to share the screen and we'll go through these slides and then we'll do a wrap up. So India has a population of approximately 1.4 billion people, as most of you know. And these are the slides that they had over there. They showed us that we asked for a copy of, and they told us that legal hadn't released them yet. So
we want to thank Susanna
again. Susanna,
she's always putting everything.
I'm here.
She nicked them off the internet, and actually Sherry and I were sending her these slides and things while we're in the meetings. But anyhow, thanks again, Susanna, for stepping up as you always.
You're welcome.
So 65% of the population is under 35 years of age. 28 is a median age. 910 million millennials and Gen Zs. I don't even know what a Gen Z is, but anyway, 440 million millennials.
But we're after the population under 35. That's why we'll be going in with a different line of products and a different compensation plan.
So 300 to 350 million. Do you people know how many distributors we need to create $500 million of business? Okay, it's approximately 100,000. Okay. And I think if I remember correctly, it's around 10,000 executives in the business. So the point there is we don't need 300 million people, you know? I remember when Nu Skin grew from 40 million to 500 million in 90 and 91 when Sherry and I joined the business. And I analyzed those numbers. At 500 million, I think we had, I could be wrong, but 10,000 executives. It could have been more than that. But so the point, and 100,000 distributors across the country in America doing 500 million in sales. So, you know, we don't need everybody in India to join. We just need a small portion of that number to make it very successful. Middle class is set to double in the next 20 years to 600 million people. Middle class incomes. Okay, so these are USD incomes. In India, average incomes vary between 7K and 22K annually. And in China, they did a comparison, it's 15K to 74K.
Can I just say something here?
Yeah.
We have talked to, even in Dubai and then in Qatar and on the plane and stuff, we talked to people from India, and they were all working out of the country because there was no opportunity in their country. And all of them said, yes, if there was something I could do at home in India, which is where I want to be
With my family.
I would be totally interested in doing it.
Yeah.
So what they need over there is, it's not actually our products. They need our opportunity, and they need it badly over there.
Yeah, actually a third of the population in Dubai are from India, Pakistan, or Nepal. And so everybody that took us out in cars, everybody that was working in the hotels, everybody that we spoke to in those jobs were from those countries. So we got talking to a lot of them, and they all said, you know, you imagine working for 9 or 10 months in a country by yourself, and you've got a wife and 3 kids back in India that you go to visit for a month or 2 every year. I mean, this one guy had been there like 14 years or something, and he had children back in India that were now getting into their teenage years that he gets to see for 2 months of the year. You know, what, you know, I mean,
And there was not one person that said, you know, or even acted like they might not be interested. They were all like, yes, if it's something I could do that would take me home and I could make a living, yes, I want to hear about it.
okay, so you see the numbers here. By 2030, there'll be a 200% increase in the gig workforce. 4.1 percentage of the workforce will be gig workers. So 1.2 billion internet users, 88%. This blew me away, absolutely blew me away. 88% of the population have access to internet through mobile phones in India. I mean, that's crazy. You're talking about people that are out the back of Bullamakanka, out the back of nowhere, right? And they've got a phone and they're on the internet doing business and purchasing things, and Amazon's, you know, trying to deliver products. I mean, I looked at a map of India in detail last night. Oh man, it was mind-boggling. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands. I mean, there's over 100,000 cities in the US. In India, there's hundreds of thousands of cities. 470 million social media users in India. 470 million. Excuse me. So sales of direct sales in the US, in India right now are 3.2 billion, or were in 22, with a 13.3% increase, okay, year over year, with 12 million distributors, 40% female, 60% male. All right. So, and how it breaks down is 74% are in wellness, 17% towards beauty, and 9% are other as far as direct sales segments are concerned. So we've got a comparison here between the US and India. We've got 3.2 billion sales in 22 in India, 40.5 billion in sales in the US, 13.3% growth in India in 22, and 4.8% growth in the US, with 12 million distributors and 16 million distributors in the US. So, you know, this tells me that there's a lot more people over there involved in the industry, producing a lot less, and that's why we have to come up with products that are a little less expensive. These are numbers from 4 of the top companies in that country. 797 million from Herbalife, 284 from Motorcare, 264 from Vestige. And Amway used to do, I think Ryan said Amway was at one stage doing $1 billion in India, and it dropped all the way back to 219 million. I'm not sure of the reason for that recently, but that's happened recently. Okay, then they talked about manufacturing. You know, they're going to be manufacturing over there. This is another part of the cost. They want to be able to, products are much more accepted in that market when they're made locally. And so we want to be able to say these products are made in India by Indians. You know, apparently that gives you a bit of an edge. And so they're going to be setting up a manufacturing and distribution system over there for us to be able to take to the market local products.
And it says that a localized product mix that'll appeal to the middle and emerging middle class. So I sat next to an Indian woman on the plane coming home who's now a realtor in Seattle, but she's totally interested, and she had a really good handle on what they needed over there. And she said, if you have products that appeal to the Indian people, she said, we don't have a lot of product lines that appeal to them. She said it has to be stuff like that has herbs and oils and stuff like that in it that's in their price range and that is produced in India. And I thought, wow, we're right on target. That's probably exactly what we'll go in with.
And that's what Ryan was talking about when he did this presentation, is that they understand that because they've had people in the marketplace for a number of years that they've been paying. Plus they've also taken other people who've been in the industry there for years and put them under contract to us to help guide us in the process. So higher selling and affiliate commission structure. Okay, so people will make money quickly in this new plan over there from selling products and from bringing new affiliates into the program. Okay, I'm not gonna say they're gonna make money off sponsoring people, but they're still developing actually what the program will look like, but essentially it'll be more money up front.
It'll basically be try the products, share the products, get other people to try the products and share the products and repeat. It'll be that easy of a system that they'll run over there.
Okay, so this is talking about who we're starting to talk about who can participate, and there are some rules around who can participate in the market over there. Okay, they're going to be controlling of who gets to go in there because they know it's so big. They just didn't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry running over there and trying to develop a huge business. They want to have people going over there that know what they're doing, that have some experience and knowledge, and so that's what we're going to see here in the next couple of minutes.
Can I just make a comment about this? So you know how we've always said, think global and build local. Well, a lot of you know Kirsty and Paul, but they're some of the strongest team elites in our downline. And they spent years overseas developing in other markets. And then when they went home, back to New Zealand, in their market, they found their strongest two team elites. They found them at home in New Zealand, which led to huge legs in Indonesia. So you don't even have to think about going to India. Just work your market where you're at and talk to Indian people.
And honestly, all the leaders in market, we know who the leaders are in each market around the world because we were just with them for the last week. And all those leaders were sponsored in local markets before the market opened up. It was the only way that we used to be able to do it. And then, as John Connolly once said, I was like the Pied Piper going around and people used to follow. Well, that was one way to do it, but these days with technology, we don't need to do that. So then they talked about the three different types of Indian people. You've got an OCI, which is an overseas citizen of India. And these people can be first generation leaders in the marketplace in India when it eventually opens. The second one's a PIO, person of Indian origin, okay? And the third one is a non-resident Indian or NRI. Okay, these people are going to be able to, they're the only ones actually that are going to be able to sponsor into India. We are not going to be able to directly sponsor people in India. So that should put a stop on people going there and trying to recruit in that marketplace, because You're just not going to be allowed to do it. You're going to have, and we're going to have to prove that these people we sponsor are actually residents in an outside country before Nu Skin will allow them to go back into India. Okay, so there's going to be some rules around how they manage this. So there's 3 phases, all right? The first one is the market launch preparation, which is what they're doing now. They want to get 500 new India-eligible brand reps anywhere in the world. Once they've got that locked in, they'll move to phase 2, which is local product manufacturing, digital toolset creation, global trainings for India-eligible BRs in home markets, okay? And then they'll shoot for 1,000 new India-eligible brand reps. Once they hit that, then they'll get an office to build out, hire and train local management team, and then they'll eventually launch in India. So that's the steps that they want to take over the next year and a half to prepare.
So how fast it launches is up to us.
And I
you
think
know?
they'll get these 500 BRs in the next month or so. So I think it's going to happen, fairly. But he did say their goal is to open towards the end of 25. I don't think that'll happen any sooner than that. India Founders Program. So they've got a founders program to incentivize people to make the effort, do kind of what we used to do, John, but they're going to reward them for that. A percentage of India market first year revenue paid according to personal India team performance. So you're going to get a share of revenue depending upon what your Indian team does, and as long as you follow the rules, etc., and fit into their box, you'll be getting a percentage of the team. Ryan thought it might be several $100 million that they do in the first year of launching India. And so
Bobby, are you listening?
Yeah.
so they're going to share a percentage of that back to the field on top of the commission structure. Okay, so here's Founders Program qualifications, all right? Founder 1, build one India eligible G1 brand representative. Okay, so that's 1. Founder, the second position is 10 India eligible BRs in G1 India eligible leadership teams. Okay, that means following the rules that they've laid out for people to be able to participate in the Indian market. In other words, they're going to have Indian passport, Indian citizenship. They're going to be Indian people who are living overseas, not people that have a cousin, not people that were born in the United States and have a cousin living over in somewhere or other. These are people that actually have Indian citizenship that are going to be able to go back and sponsor. And then it goes to Founder 20, build 20 India eligible BRs in G1 India eligible leadership teams, and then 40 India eligible BRs in G1 India eligible leadership teams.
And those 40 BRs can all be in one organization. They don't have to be 40 frontline BRs. They can all be in one organization or 2 or 3.
So India eligible brand reps plus immediate international upline brand representatives will be in the founders pool. Requirements: qualify as a founder. The requirements to sponsor India or to build an Indian group, if you like, participate in the market, is qualify as a founder, which we see above the list there. New BRs achieve and maintain Ruby plus title by market launch. Okay, so they've got to become a Ruby before.
You have to be a Ruby to participate in the founders program.
Right. Generate India sourced OV. Okay, so generate India sourced.
You have to have India sourced organizational volume. So your brand reps, you have to be creating organizational volume inside of an India group.
To get a share, a percentage of the first year of India's annual revenue. 1 share for every 10K of India sourced team sales volume. And so they'll be tracking. They're going to get all the information and details of every Indian person that qualifies in their system. And they're going to be tracking their volume.
I think the site is already live. You're supposed to register on this site, and I think it's already live when you have someone who qualifies, which with Parveen, you would qualify. You should be, John, you should register her on that site.
Yeah, John.
I have to leave you now then. I'm sorry, gotta go. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, so and then they also talked about Stella and Vera, and actually I was on the phone doing a call with a gentleman in London the other day with Susanna, and he was talking about he's a software developer, very successful individual, and he was talking about these two apps, saying that that they were fantastic, and he hadn't seen a company with apps like that. Where you can one's focused on the product line, one's focused on the technology and sales commission and organizational team volume, et cetera. And I spent a good portion of yesterday, which I haven't actually done in quite a while, going through and looking at. I mean, we can see a lot more today than we've ever been able to see before of what's happening in our organizations through these two apps. And so that's really helpful to me to know. I sent some emails out yesterday to people that I'd never met in our organization that are doing, pretty good sized volumes, to congratulate them and just introduce myself to them. And we were unable to do that in the past as freely as we can do it today. Okay, so you got to register for periodic updates, review pre-marketing guidelines, access frequently asked questions, register India eligible brand affiliates via submission portal. And they'll be asking for name, Nu Skin ID, copy of the NR or OCI card, which is their ability to work in India, okay, and email and address. That's going to be available from today. So we should have got that for you last night. I'm sorry that we didn't, but maybe Sherry can find that out from Jeff. You want to text the portal for them? They're going to launch it today, the portal for these guys to go in and register.
Oh, no, it is nuskin.com/India.
Okay. nuskin.com/India is the portal to go into to register India eligible brand affiliates. Okay. So, and then essentially take action, sponsor India eligible brand affiliates, build G1 India eligible brand representatives. So let's go back here. Get back to here. Oh, go like that. Oops. No. Oh, I don't want to do that.
Close out my emails there real quick.
Okay.
Hey, Susanna, how do we do this?
Well,
What you trying to do?
well, we just closed out the share. We just want to open it back up to the. Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right. So what you see there is what we got essentially over in Dubai, and there wasn't much more. Well, there wasn't any more detail to it than that. Even when we asked questions, the answer was, as information comes to them and as they know, they're going to share that on the portal and send it out to those who are actually building in India. So you want to get registered on that site, and then start looking for people who have the ability to work in India, who have an Indian passport, who are actually from India. I mean, obviously, you can sponsor anybody, and you can sponsor people who are Indian, who were born in, the UK, France, wherever, because they're going to know and have family members who are Indian, and they're going to be able to find these qualified Indian people that fit into the box that Nu Skin's looking for. They just want to have a better handle on how they work this market, and it's not easy to get a work permit over there, apparently. And even though there's a lot of corruption in India, they're pretty strict about how they manage this business over there, apparently. And so Nu Skin just wants to make sure that we don't stuff it up and go in there like Herbalife did many years ago. And Herbalife got into a lot of trouble over there, and so did Amway, because they essentially started doing business in India before they were registered, before they actually had a business over there. And it costs them hundreds of millions of dollars of business. And so we don't want to go about it that way. We have a reputation to uphold. And I think this is a better way to do it, because we can stay at home and build a huge Indian business, you know, right from where we live, no matter where that is in the world. And you can do that with Zoom calls or with the internet today. You can talk to people anywhere in the world who are from India, you know.
And one thing that experience has taught us is that the best time to build is when there is a pending event. And this is like the biggest pending event we're going to get for a
We've had it
long
25
time. It's the
years.
opening of India.
Yeah.
And so you want to put everything you have into building over the next couple of years, not just India. I mean, keep doing what you're doing, but add that to what you are doing and talk to everybody about the opening of India. That's what we did in markets in the past, and it has paid off.
And don't hold back. Don't think, well, I've got to learn and I've got to know everything there is to know. I've got to wait until Nu Skin comes out with, you know, more rules or this or that, or I've got to, okay, just don't even think like that. You know, talk to people and you'll figure it out together. You know, I've actually been thinking to myself, you know, we haven't been recruiting, to be honest, for quite some time because we're semi-retired. That's the point of doing the business. And I'm thinking, you know, myself in the last few weeks, I've been thinking, okay, what am I going to say to these guys? Well, it doesn't matter. You know, I don't have to know exactly what to say and say to them, well, this is exactly what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. You know, we're going to figure that out together over the next few months it's not going to stop me from talking to people. We've already been doing it on this trip to Dubai. Matter of fact, Sherry probably spoke to half a dozen different people while we were together over there, and she's got all their numbers. I picked one up here yesterday. I said, who's this guy? She said, oh, that's the guy in the hotel in Doha that we stayed in. She prospected him, and then she went and talked to him later that night. He was really busy with people checking in, checking out, but he was one of the guys that said to us, man, I would do anything for an opportunity back in my country, you know? And so, I don't know.
I have a question. I just looked at the site of Nu Skin Do's and Don'ts, India pre-marketing, and they say, remember that account transfers from an authorized market into India will not be approved for a period of 6 months after India opens. So
Right.
that means that if I sponsor now somebody here in Austria or in wherever open market, they have to wait for 6 months until they can work in India. Why is this? Because
they don't want people waiting till the day it launches and then moving their account to India that day. Okay, they don't want to discourage that behavior. They want to have people following their rules and who are willing to fit into their box so they can sort of control. And this is going to be better for all of us.
They can recruit into India. They just can't transfer their account there.
Okay, now I understand. So they stay in their country,
Yeah.
but they can recruit in India,
Yeah.
but then they only can transfer their account if they want.
If they want to.
It's basically the Vietnamese deal.
Okay,
You know,
I understand now.
it's
Thank you.
it's like Vietnam.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah. Okay, so any other questions? Anybody else got any questions?
Gary, can you please repeat the link again? Because www.nuskin.com / India does not work.
It's not
So,
working. That's the link they gave us, was nuskin.com / India. The I is capitalized. I don't know if that makes any difference, but it's supposed to be live today.
Today, May 1st. So maybe it's just going to happen later in the day, but
Yeah. If it doesn't, I'm going to get on my phone. If it doesn't go live, we have there's a Blue Diamond Team Elite call today at 9:30. That's actually probably when it'll go live.
I tried it with the small and the capital letter, and it didn't work till now.
Okay, we'll probably find out why today on the Team Elite call. And it may not even go live until, it's not live yet. So it may not go live until after the Team Elite call today.
Okay.
And they may have changed it, but
Mhm.
that's the one they've given us several times and
And my second
said it would be
Okay.
live
and
today.
my second
Go on.
question is it possible that we can get those slides you have shown us today?
Yeah.
Sure.
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 Thank you. And thank you for doing this great, amazing presentation and inform us what we can do and how we can do it. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Yeah, wonderful.
So,
Thank you very much.
we recorded probably 80% of this call. So if
Right.
you've got anybody in your organization
Just the India part.
that wants to hear it,
Yes,
just,
please.
we can send it to them.
Yeah.
I'd just like to make a remark for everybody.
Yes, please, Sean. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sherry.
Merci beaucoup. Merci, merci.
Hang on, like John wants to say
Merci
something.
beaucoup. Thank you very much.
How
Merci
good
beaucoup.
how good is Nu Skin's timing? They held off on this. This is the cover that I bought at the airport yesterday, Newsweek, all about India, and it says unstoppable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
This is the Economist that I bought yesterday.
Yeah.
All about India's economy. It's a full issue on India. So we start Nu Skin with the whole world is speaking about India right now, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things. The conversation that I had with Ryan in February was I sent him an article about India, how India was gobbling up the global economy, and
Right.
and he wrote back to me and said, "Yeah, we're going to be part of it here, next year." So yeah, their timing is perfect. You know, India is growing in ways kind of like what China was 10 or 15 years ago. Only I think India, actually, what I read was that they're doing it. They watched what China did, and they're going to do it differently. You know, they're right next door to China, and so they've had the experience of what China's gone through. And frankly, China's really struggling at the moment, you know, and India is going to go through their growth more managed, and so that they don't end up like China is now. So, yeah, thanks, John, for bringing that
Yeah,
up.
that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. So,
I just have a quick question. Hello.
hello.
You
Yes,
you said-
how are
you
you?
mentioned. Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. So glad to see you.
Good to see you
I'm
too.
becoming very emotional.
Yeah.
But I just want to know, people who are interested should be Ruby, right? So let's say they want to build a business in India, they should be a Rubies,
By opening.
but okay, by opening, right? So a Swiss one should be a Ruby who has a J1 eligible as an Indian with the rest, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, any more questions from anybody? Sharon, food.
Yeah, so the Indian
sorry.
lady or sir should be Ruby, or the one who wants to participate in the pool should be Ruby.
The one who wants to participate in the pool.
But the Indian guy or lady just have to be the brand rep
Yes.
or higher.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Laura Lee.
Hi, thank you. My question is, I invited, just a bit of a background, I invited an Indian national to join one of our business building Zoom, which was last night, and she couldn't attend because she's an accountant. She's still doing tax training, but she had a couple of questions, and which I couldn't answer. Her questions were, who would build team in India? Who will pay for their wages? Also, who will conduct the sales and marketing, and who will spend funds on sales and marketing? Now, these are all legitimate questions that she raised, but watching the presentation today, how much of this information are we able to share when we're prospecting, especially of the Indian nationals?
All of it.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to share everything. I mean, I'm sure it's a privileged information. However, how much of this information can we share without using jargon?
I think we need to judge based on who it is we're trying to recruit, because each person we try to recruit will be different as far as what their questions or concerns are going to be. You know, we are the marketing arm of this company. You know, they're going to invest between $25 and $50 million into opening up the offices, getting the products there, setting up manufacturing. Their investment is to get ready for us to be able to do the marketing and sell the products and build the teams. Okay, that's how.
So her questions sound to me like she doesn't understand the concept of the company. So if she's wondering who's going to build in India, it is the Indian people that will build the organizations over there. Nu Skin will handle all of the facilities,
infrastructure,
the products, the infrastructures, all that kind of stuff. But the building of organizations